Hello and welcome back to the another episode of Daily News Quiz Analysis for IAS Prelims 2025. It is 16th Feb today, and in this video we are going to solve some important questions which are very much relevant for your preparation. But before we'll start our discussion, I would like to give the brief introduction about this initiative of ours so that if you are new to our channel, you will get more connected with us. Basically in this video, we are going to solve different types of questions, and these questions would be taken from different sources. So if depending upon the sources, we will divide our discussion. Our discussion can come under three different parts. So in the first part of our discussion, what we are going to do, here we are going to discuss questions related to current affairs. What we will do, we will take up the most important articles from the newspapers. We will break them down into the simplest language possible, and we will try to derive the possible prelims questions from those particular articles, so that it will give the idea which part of the newspaper is important for you, what should be your approach when you are reading these news articles, and how you can expect a possible prelims question from these particular articles. This is what we are going to do in the first part of our discussion. After solving questions with respect to current affairs, we will shift our approach to the second part. Here we will discuss questions with respect to static topics. Currently we are discussing Indian polity, and in Indian polity, today we are discussing the office of the Vice President under Indian Constitution. So today we are going to discuss few topics related to that, and we will try to derive the possible prelims question which can be asked in the exam with respect to these topics, so that it will give the idea how actually do questions come in the exam. After solving questions with respect to current affairs and the static part, what we will do, we'll shift towards the third part of our discussion. Here we will discuss some previous year questions. To me, this is the most important part because this is the actual scenario. It actually shows us how the questions are asked in the exam. What is the vocabulary which the UPSC follows when they are framing your papers? What are the different trends they follow when they frame the paper for you? And here we will also learn what are the different techniques we can implement in the exam by which we can solve the questions of which we don't have the proper knowledge. And also we'll try to understand how we can implement this knowledge in the upcoming exam. So this is in a nutshell what we are going to do in this video. Now, before we will start our discussion, I would like to request you guys, please do subscribe the channel. When you subscribe, it helps the channel grow. It motivates us to work more hard on these topics, on this initiative, so that we can help you in the best way possible. Please do subscribe us to motivate us. And also please do share it with your friends so that they may also get benefited by this initiative if you are getting. And please do write in the comments what do you feel about the video. With this, let's have a look at the first question. As here you can see, the question is basically talking about the foreigners, their stay, their entry, their exit from India. So basically it is dealing with the immigration and foreigners in India. So without any delay, first let's solve the question. Let's have a different approach today. First we will solve the question, and then we will dig deep into the topic. Here the question says, which of the following legislative acts primarily govern this entry, stay and exit of foreigners in India? Currently, what are the legislative acts which govern the entry, stay and exit of foreigners in India? Let's see the statements. First statement, the Foreigners Act 1946, 100% correct. It governs. The Passport Entry into India Act 1926, 100% correct. It too governs. The third, the Registration of Foreigners Act 1939, 100% correct. Fourth, Immigration Carriers Liability Act 2000, 100% correct. So with respect to this question, all the four given legislations, they govern the foreigners entry, stay, exit in India. So with respect to this question, the correct statement would be option E, which is all of the above. Now we solved the question, we got the answer of this question. Now here, if you notice one peculiar thing about this question, that there is some problem with this. There is some issue with the entry, stay and exit of foreigners in India. If we will analyze it, we will find two problems associated with it. The first problem is that there are too many laws which govern it. So too many legislations which govern it, too many laws which govern it. So there can be the overlap of laws. The officials which are involved with the foreigners, they can feel under huge pressure. They may get confused because different laws are governing it. So there can be the overlap of laws. This is the one of the issue associated with it. The second issue, if you look at the question itself, many of the legislations which we follow, for example, the Foreigners Act 1946, I'm highlighting the date. The Passport Entry into India Act 1926, I'm highlighting the dates here. The Registration of Foreigners Act 1939, highlighting the dates. So what did we find out? Many acts which are associated with the immigration and the foreigners, they are very much pre-independent. They were foreign before the independence. So definitely there is definitely there is hangover of colonialism. So definitely there is the hangover of British colonialism. So to overcome this issue, to overcome the overlapping of these too many legislations and this hangover of the colonialism, as they framed these laws in their favor, so to overcome this, the Ministry of Home Affairs, what they did, they are about to frame a legislation, they are about to introduce a bill, and that's named as Immigration and Foreigners Bill 2025. So Immigration and Foreigners Bill 2025 will be introduced by the Ministry of Home Affairs. So what this bill will do, when this would be passed, it will accommodate all the acts, all the legislations which are here. It will accommodate them into the one body, and this will act as the primary, legislation which will govern the stay, entry, and exit of the foreigners in India. So with this, I hope you had got the basic understanding why we discussed the question, and also the question itself. If right now the exam question would be asked with respect to the entry, stay, and exit of foreigners in India, you can definitely answer what are the legislations which support this in India. So here, we can discuss the key provisions of this bill also, but to me, it would be very much premature to discuss it now. But in the upcoming classes, there would be definitely discussion over it. There would be more discussion in the newspapers with respect to that. At that time, when the time would be, time would favor it, when the bills would be passed, when the notification would be done, at that time we will definitely discuss it. When there would be discussion in the parliament, we will definitely discuss it. So right now there is no need to discuss it, but I will give you the few highlights that there are few provisions. For example, a proposed bill defines the functions of immigration officers at a port of entry. The immigration officers, it will define their functions. For example, Bureau of Immigration will control that. It will provide for registration of foreigners in the country, and also it will provide for tracking of foreigners in the country, whether their stay date is over or not, whether they had come by viable sources, by if their documentation is correct, whether they are illegal immigrants or not. That all would be checked and understood through this legislation, which is under Immigration and Foreigners Bill 2025. So with this, I hope you had understood the question and also the context of this question. Now with this, let's move to the another slide and see what question we had brought on the another screen. Here, as you can see on the screen, the question is basically about the imposition of president's rule. What are the conditions for that? How it can be imposed? Basically, why we are discussing this question, and the major reason for that is the condition in Manipur. We had discussed every aspect of the presidential rule. We had discussed every aspect of Article 356. So I don't think there is more need to discuss much about it. But why I brought this question, because there was discussion over it in the newspaper, and the article basically talked about when can presidential rule be imposed. So let's give it the final touch and move to the next topic. Here the question says, which of the following best describes the constitutional basis for the imposition of presidential rule in a state in India? First statement: the president's assessment that the state government is acting against national interests. Let's keep it here. It is something tricky. Second statement: a report from the governor of the state stating that the government cannot be carried on in accordance with the constitution. 100% correct. This is 100% correct. Third statement: the breakdown of law and order in the state as determined by the central government. This this is not all the time that this could be the reason for the presidential rule, so we mark it incorrect. Fourth statement: the failure of the state government to implement centrally sponsored schemes. Incorrect. So we have issue with the, to this question the correct option is option B. We got that, but let's see what is the issue with the first statement. We discussed it in our earlier classes that if the president feels that there are the conditions are acting in there are conditions in a state, in a particular state, where the presidential rule can be implemented, he can go for it. But here, we have to understand the language of the question. The question basically talks about the constitutional basis for the imposition of presidential rule. About the president to impose a presidential rule, he has to depend on the governor. He has to depend, mostly dependent on the council of ministers. So with respect to this, taking it into the mind, the proper answer to this question, a question like this, the proper answer would be, the best suited answer would be option B. I would mark this question. It is very difficult question to answer, because you would get confused with these three statements. But in such questions, when you have options given like that, you have to go for the best one. You may feel that another option is also correct, but go for the best one, which is fully described in the constitution. And what is described in the constitution? A report from the governor of the state stating that the government cannot be carried on in accordance with the constitution. This would be the correct answer to this question. So with this, we conclude today the discussion with respect to the presidential rule, because we had discussed it. If you want to know in detail about it, you can consult my earlier classes. You will definitely find full discussion over it. What are the preconditions, how it is not immune to judiciary. We had discussed everything related to that. With this, let's move to the another screen, another slide, and see what question we had brought in. Here, as you can see directly on the screen, the question is basically about the CODPA Act of 2003. What it is related to? It is related to Cigarettes and Other Tobacco Products Act. Why we are discussing this question? Because in our country, despite we are, the cigarette smoking in public has been banned, there are penalties for that, but unfortunately it is still prevailing in our country. And the reason which the author here gives is the lack of will shown by the security, lack of will shown by the police, lack of will shown by the people, and also lack of will shown by the administration. With respect with respect to this, as it was in the news article today, so we need to know about this act, what it is about. Here the question says, the Cigarettes and Other Tobacco Products Act, CODPA of 2003 in India primarily focuses on eliminating tobacco farming. No. Banning all sales of tobacco products. No. Providing medical assistance to those addicted in nicotine. No. Third statement, regulating the tobacco industry's production, distribution, marketing, and advertising. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, the correct statement would be option C. Option C. And with respect to this topic, there was another term which was in the news in this article itself. It was global, tobacco survey. It basically is global adult tobacco survey. Global adult tobacco survey, and it has highlighted in 2016 approximately 28% of our population, 28% of our population is addicted to tobacco. And earlier it used to be 34, now it has increased to 28%. So it is definitely showing that the concern of the addiction in our people, that how much people are consuming this tobacco. So definitely there was the need of the act which could prevent it, but there is, at the same time, there is the need of the authorities to implement it properly. And if with respect to cancer, with respect to cancer caused by tobacco in our country, 27.5 percentage of cancers which happen or which are caused in our country are because of the tobacco. So you can see how deadly it can be. So it is better for the administration to work in to administrate it. And why this act is because it is right to life of a person. When anybody smokes, it does not have just active impact, it also have the passive impact. The people who are surrounding him, they also get impacted by the smoking of any person. So under right to life and liberty, article 21, the Kerala High Court has delivered that this should be banned in public, and same was followed by the Supreme Court, and then the Parliament, they came up with this CODPA Act of 2003. This is the whole history in nutshell. Now with this, let's move to the another slide and see what question we had brought there. Here the question is with respect to Fugly festival, as there was a picture of few men, very unique picture in the Hindu newspaper. They were for the trousers, they were using the dried grass, and they had wooden masks. So why this picture was captured? It was because of the Fugly festival. So here we need to know what state it is associated with. Here the question says the Fugly festival, a significant cultural event, is primarily celebrated in which of the following Indian state? It is definitely Himachal Pradesh. And this is named as Kus or Kun. Fugly festival is named as Kus or Kun in the particular state. And people pay tribute to mighty mountains under this festival. So this is the nutshell of this festival. Now with this, let's move to the another question and see what we had brought there. Here the question says Article 311 of Indian Constitution deals with what? Basically why we're discussing this question. The LG of Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir, he had dismissed three officials, the government officials, for them being involved in the with militancy. On that basis, he had dismissed them. He has suspended them. So from where he got this power? He got this power from Article 311 of Indian Constitution. This Article 311 gives power to the president and the governors as well as the lieutenant governors. Now let's have a look at the Article 311 of Indian Constitution. It says Article 311 of Indian Constitution deals with protection of certain officers of union or state, dismissal, removal or reduction in the rank of civil servants, 100% correct. Recruitment and condition of service of a person serving in the union or state, the power of parliament to modify the rights conferred by this part. This is also incorrect. So correct option to this question is option B. Why we discussed it? Because it was used by the Lieutenant Governor in Jammu and Kashmir who had dismissed three members. So with this, with this we complete our discussion with respect to current affairs topics. I told you there was not much in the newspaper today which we could have discussed in detail. So these are few prelims related topics there were, and we discussed them. Now with this, let's move to the another part of our discussion where we will solve first we will solve a static topic based question. And today's static topic based question is based on the eligibility criteria for a person to be elected as the Vice President of India. Why we are discussing this? Because we had reached, as we are discussing Indian polity, and in Indian polity we had reached till the office of the Vice President of India under Indian Constitution. So in this there is a topic about the eligibility criteria for a person to be elected as the Vice President of India. So let's understand this through this question. The question says which of the following are the eligibility criteria for a person to be elected as the Vice President of India. First statement, the person must be a citizen of India. 100% correct. He must be the citizen of India. If he is not citizen of India, how he can be the Vice President? Second, the person must be at least 35 years of age. 100% correct. Third statement, the person must be a member of the Rajya Sabha at the time of election. Most of the times you will get confused with it. Many of the students, they will look at the Rajya Sabha, they will mark it correct, but it is incorrect. You know why? Because look at the statement. It says the person must be a member of the Rajya Sabha. No, it is not needed. He should be eligible to be the member of the Rajya Sabha, but he is not needed to be the member of the Rajya Sabha, but he should be eligible to be the member of the Rajya Sabha. So statement 3 is incorrect. Fourth statement, the person must not hold any office of profit under the government of India or any state government. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, what are the correct statements? Correct statements are statement 1, statement 2 and statement 4. And from the code given below, the correct code would be option B. With this, I hope you had understood what is the eligibility criteria for a person to be elected as the Vice President of India. With this, let's move to the last part of our discussion where we will solve a previous year question. Here question 1 is very simple. It says which of the following phenomenon might have influenced the evolution of organism. The question itself has the answer. Whenever you have the question might, if any statement contains the might in it, then most of the times the options which are given below are correct, because it shows that there are chances. Definitely there are chances of everything. So let's solve the question. Question says which of the following phenomenon might have influenced the evolution of organism? Continental drift, 100% correct. It might have, and it had. We had the records with respect to that. Glacial cycles, 100% correct. It might have, if you don't have the knowledge, you can say it might have. So with respect to this question, both the statements are correct. Both continental drift and glacial cycles might have influenced the evolution of organism. So with this, we complete our discussion, today's discussion. I hope you would have liked the video. I hope the concepts which we discussed here were very much easily understood by you, and I was able to make you understand those concepts, and I did not confuse you. If there is any confusion, please do write in the comments. We will try our best to reach out to you guys and try to clear that confusion. And also please do subscribe the channel and share it with your friends. Now I would like to add one more thing here. You saw, you are with me. I hope you are with me till now, and you would have seen that we had discussed three types of question, as I already told you. Questions from newspapers, or we can say current affairs, questions from static topic, and questions from previous year questions. So suppose if you were following me from last 1 year, or if you are preparing to do it in 2026 and you followed me for 1 year, complete 1 year. So what will you do? What will you achieve? You will achieve every question related to current affairs. Most of your current affairs will be clear. How much you can get cleared. You can get questions from here only. The most of the questions will be cleared with respect to current affairs. With respect to static topic, you will get the questions, how the questions can be asked. You will have these questions also, and also previous year question analysis. So how it can help you? When there are only few days left for your exams, I'm talking about the month of May, and you would want to revise the current affairs. You would want to go through the static part. You would want to go through the previous year questions. But at that time, time does not allow you to do so, because it is very much limited. So you feel confused, you feel very much underconfident, and trust me, this is the least thing you want when you enter in the exam. So what you can do, if you have these questions with you and you had followed me from last 1 year and you have every question related to it, so what you can do, you can just revise these questions. These questions would provide you the current affairs. These questions would provide you the analysis of static topics. These questions will provide you analysis of previous year questions, and also it will boost your confidence. And also it is the same source which the UPSC is going to frame the questions from. So there are chances that many questions can coincide, as you can see here. It is very much evident from our discussion. You can see that many questions can coincide in the exam. Suppose if not the questions, the statements can coincide. Let's suppose not even the statements will coincide. Trust me, I swear on it, these would be the concepts which we discuss here, from where the questions would be asked. So if you have the last mile revision of these concepts, it will definitely help you clear your exam. So with this, I would like to request you guys, please do note down these questions and keep your own question bank. With this, I would like to thank you guys. Thank you very much for staying with me. Have a best of luck and whatever. Thank you.